doing random variables, right? So we saw random variables is a way of high-level way of looking at probability. Okay, your sample space, events, and everything is a low-level assembly language way of looking at probability. And random variables provide a high-level way of looking at probability. So there are standard probability distributions like geometric. We saw geometric and binomial, but there are actually many others. Yeah, so I will give some more examples later in the course. Yeah, and typically from the problems it will be clear what the distribution is. And for many of the distribution there will be standard formulas, and you can directly compute a lot of things straight from the distribution itself if you know the distribution. Yeah. So yeah, we don't need to go back to find the event and compute the probabilities all the time. Okay, so there is, if it's a standard distribution, we know a lot of things about the distribution, and we can easily compute the probabilities. Okay, because that probability distribution is standard and we know about it. Okay, for example, for the binomial distribution, we know what the mean is, we know what the variance is. So let's solve one more problem in that. We looked at linearity of expectation, what is expectation, and things like that. So let's solve one more problem in that direction. And you also have a deep quiz today evening, right? Yeah, so this will help you get prepared again. So yeah, this is the question. Yeah, so you have this drunken person. Yeah, so just a second. There's this drunken guy, and at any time he takes a step forward with probability 1/2. Okay, he will move forward with probability 1/2, and he will move 2 steps backward with probability 1/4. Yeah, and he will stay at the same place with probability 1/4. Yeah, he can either move forward, or he can move 2 steps backward, or he can just stay at the same place. Yeah. Now he starts at x equal to 0. So yeah, there is some x-axis. So x equal to 0. He's standing here now. Yeah. So let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Let's say this is -1, -2, and so on. Yeah. Yeah. So he starts at x equal to 0, at t equal to 0, and yeah, he goes on till time some capital T. He goes on going till some time capital T. When he will pass out, okay, he will just fall down and sit there. He won't move after that. Now the T at which he's pass out, when he's going to pass out, that's also random. Okay, and what is the distribution of T? So the distribution of T. So the distribution of T is okay. So what is the distribution of T? It is 1 with probability 1/3. Okay, after 1 time second he passed out. 2 with probability again 1/3, and 3 with probability 1/3. Okay, this is the number of steps needed. He will walk. Yeah. Now find the expected value of the total number of steps he has taken in any direction. Yeah. So there is t, and then there is yeah. So now we need to find. Let's say x is the total number of steps. Total number of steps in any direction. Yeah. So yeah, what is this quantity? Anybody want to try this? Yeah, I mean, how do you find the expected value of x? Nobody has an idea, like. How do you find the expected value of x? You have an exam in the evening, so you should be clear with these systems by now.
With the probability of 3/4, he'll move forward or backward.
With probability of, sorry?
So 1/2 he moves forward, and 1/4 he moves backward. 1/4 he stays where he is.
Yes.
Is it 1 minus 1/4? Because he should not stay where he is. So that is 3/4.
Okay, how did you get all this? Sorry.
Yeah, the probability is such that he is not staying in the same place.
So we need to find the expected value of x. So how do you find the expected value of x?
Summation or x px.
Okay, summation over x px of x. That's all.
Correct.
This is all. Into x. Yeah.
No, sir, we have to do x.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you compute this?
Sir, probability of one step into one and probability of two steps into two and just by
Okay.
3.
For 2 steps backwards, we should do -2. My x should be -2.
Okay.
Forward.
So what is x? What is capital X? Did you read the question clearly? Let's say he takes 2 steps backward. So what is capital X then?
2.
Yeah, it is 2. I mean, in any direction. I'm not looking at the forward direction only. Take the number of steps in any direction.
Okay. Sorry.
You should read the question, okay? And you cannot then later complain, oh, sorry, I didn't read the question. Yeah, you should read and understand the question. Okay, so how do you do it? So you will compute px of 0. Is that so? Can I mean x take the value 0?
Yes.
So what is the probability of x taking the value 0?
1/4, sir.
Why? How did you get 1/4?
It's written otherwise.
So the only way he can just only way the capital X can be 0 is how can capital X be 0?
So if it's staying at this place, he's on the x side, he's not moving neither backward nor.
That's the only way he can capital X can be 0.
Same steps in forward and backward direction.
Forward.
So this is this we said is 1/4, right? Is that 1/4?
So he can take 2 steps forward and 2 steps backward also, and still same in the same place.
But in
That's
any direction, then capital X is 4, no?
Yeah, that's.
So what is P of X is of 0? Is it just 1/4?
1/4, yes, sir.
But after that he might still get steps, no? Who said he's going to pass out in 1 time step? He might pass out only after 3 time steps. In the first time step, okay, he didn't take a step, but in the next time step he might take a step, no?
Then it will be 1/4 is to power t for him staying at the same place.
1/4 power t. Okay, fine. But t is again a random variable. What will you do now?
One by 64.
Okay, how did you get 1/64? Like, how did you get 1/64? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand the calculation. Nobody wants to try?
It should be 1 by 4 into 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4 the whole square into 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4 the whole cubed into 1 by 3. Multiplying by the time like t, like that probability, I guess.
Yeah. So did everybody follow that? So let's see what Rani just said. So let's look at the joint distribution of x and t. Okay, and we know that this is the marginal, so it is 0 t summation over t. So t can vary from 1 to 3. Yeah. So at t equal to 1, what is the probability that t equal to 1 and x equal to 0?
By 4.
It is 1 by 3 into 1 by 4. The probability that t equal to 1 is 1 by 3 and x equal to 0 is and conditioned on t equal to t equal to 1, x equal to 0 is he just remains there only in the first time step. That is this. Now this plus, so the probability that t equal to 2 is again 1 by 3. This is 1 by 3. And if t equal to 2, he has to remain in place 2 times. He will only pass out after 2 time steps. Yeah, so in both the time steps, he has to remain in place. Finally, okay, the number of time steps he takes before passing out might be exactly equal to 3. That can happen with probability 1 by 3. And this is the answer. Yeah. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So can you please explain once more? I didn't get it.
So you agree with this formula that this is the marginal distribution over x is px comma t 0 t. You agree with this formula?
Yes, sir.
Important thing is, the time at which he passes out is also a random variable. You need to understand that. Yeah. So I'm just writing that this is summation over t equal to 1 to 3. Yeah. Probability of t equal to t into probability of x is x given t equal to t is 0. This also you agree? This is Bayes rule.
Sir, it is mentioned that the time t at which he passes out is 1 with probability 1 by 3. That means his not passing 1 is 2 by 3. That means he will not cross t 1 with probability 2 by 3.
No. At any time, he will stand there with probability 1 by 4, go back 2 steps with probability 1 by 4, go forward 1 step with probability 1 by 2. Yeah, that's what is said. Yeah, and after some time, you might also pass out. And the time step at which pass out can be 1 with probability 1 by 3, 2 with probability 1 by 3, and 3 with probability 1 by 3. That is what is given. Yeah. So if after everything has happened, okay, suppose he remained at x equal to, he didn't move a single step. Yeah. So this is the probability that he didn't move a single step. Yeah. So what is the probability that he didn't move a single step? It is he passed out in the first after the first instant itself, and he moved no step. That is this. Yeah. He passed out only in the second instance, and in both the instances he didn't move a single step. That is this. He passed out only in the third instant, and in all the 3 instances he didn't move a single step. That is this. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, that probability of moving forward and backward are given of 1 time stamp only. that 1/2 and 1/4 and staying at the place at one time stamp only?
No, I mean, it is said that at each time. So it's clearly written. At each time. No. Here, T is the time at which he passes out. Even if he doesn't pass out, he might stay at the same step. That's what is written. No, he'll stay in place otherwise. You said,
Sir,
if we.
but at time equal to 2, that probability is given 1/3 means that covers whole of the timestamps also, na? Means if we multiply just 1/4 into 1/3, that covers time equal to 2, that timestamps also, and then that probability of staying at place also.
No, so you need to understand the question. So there's a physical situation. This probability is not just numbers. You should understand the physical situation. This is what I've been trying to tell from the beginning of the course. So there is a drunken man. Yeah. He walks. Okay, he sometimes move backward, sometimes move forward, and sometimes changes his place, even if he is conscious. Yeah. So the probabilities of going 2 steps backward or 1 step forward or staying in place is clearly given. Yeah. Now independently, he will also pass out at some time. Will pass out at some time. Yeah. The time at which he passes out could be 1 with probability 1/3, or 2 with probability 1/3, or 3 with probability 1/3. Yeah. So eventually the person passes out. It might be a time step 1, it might be a time step 2, it might be a time step 3. Yeah, eventually he will be stuck at a place. He will not go on walking here and there. Okay. Now question is, what is the probability that he didn't move a single step? So if you have a question, please ask the question in the class. I cannot imagine what you are saying from your text message only. Is it clear? If you.
Yeah, so sir, I was confused. So I confused it as the final total number of steps as the difference between the final position and the initial position, rather than.
So so
that is
the question is very important. Like, what do you mean by the question? You should ask questions about what is happening. Probability is not just numbers. You should understand the physical situation. What are you being asked? Yeah, so this is the common thing people have with mathematics. They think mathematics is just numbers and manipulating them. No, that numbers have a physical meaning. You should also understand the physical situation. Yeah, and you should connect it to the physical situation. Otherwise, you will just be getting lost. Okay, so fine. I mean, but we didn't answer the question yet. Okay, probability of x equal to 0 we got. When what else can? What is probability of x equal to 1? Yeah.
So the probability would be similar to this. For x equal to 1, we have to take one step in any direction. So, for example, for t equal to 1, 1/3 into 1/2 plus 1/4. That means first we are selecting t equal to 1, and then we can either move forwards or backwards. And then for other cases as well, we are doing the same thing.
Yeah, so you look at the number of cases. So I mean, this can happen if t equal to 1 and he just only moved one step forward, or only one step forward he moved. That is the only thing that can happen at t equal to 1. Yeah, so this is the probability of x t, where x is let's say t equal to 1 and x should also be equal to 1. That's the only case that can happen. Yeah. and yeah.
So in subsequent cases, he might not move. So the total number of steps will be still 1.
Yeah, so this is Px t. Yeah, t can be equal to 2. If t equal to 2, he could take the step in the first part or the second part, right? Yeah,
Yes,
so again, so yeah, if you work out, there will be 2 coming out here, okay, and yeah, again 1, 3. So you need to compute these 3 probabilities and do. Okay, I assume that from this formula you also understood how to do this. Okay, it's a very nice calculation. You can do it. Okay. But are we going to sit and calculate x probability of x equal to 0, x equal to 1, x equal to 2? What is the question you are asked? So what was the question you were asked? What is the question asking you? Your question is asking you to find the expected value of x, nothing more. Right? Your question is asking you, the question didn't ask you to find the probability distribution of x. The question asked you to find the expected value of x. Yeah. And one way to do it is find the probability distribution of x and then substitute this formula and compute it. But do you think that is needed? Let me just zoom out a bit. I mean, if you have anything to say, please speak out. I mean, yeah, so how do you find the expected value of x? Is there another way of doing it? Is there a simpler way of doing it?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sir, 0.
Yeah. You cannot simply say, sir, you need to justify the answer. I mean, why is it so?
Sir, it will be 0 because if he take one step forward, it is having a probability of 1/2, and if we take 2 step backward, that is 1/4. That means that if he take 2 step forward, it will be 1/4. So he will be in that same place only. Expectation will be 0 only.
Okay. I didn't follow your argument at all. Sorry.
Sir, I think for x there will be values from -3 to 3. So ultimately,
Sorry, I don't think you understood the question even now. X is the number of steps in any direction. Even if we goes backward, x is equal to 2. I mean, in any direction. What does it mean, any direction? I am not interested in the absolute. I'm interested in the absolute value of his position. Yeah. Yeah. Please ask question. Yeah. Is there a question? So how do we do it? Is there a simpler way that we learn to do it? So x is the total number of steps he moved. It's not even the final absolute value, but it's the number of steps he moved. Yeah. So the number of steps he moved. X is total number of steps moved. Yeah, that is what x was. Now, if t equal to 0, let's say if t equal to 1, which happens with probability 1/3. Yeah. What is the distribution of x? The distribution of x was let's say 2 with probability I think 2 with probability 1/4, right? 2 with probability 1/4. 0 with probability 1 by 4 and 1 with probability 1 by 2. Is that right? I'm just, yeah. Is there a question regarding this?
Sir, 2 steps forward and 2 steps backward will be considered same or different cases?
No, we are coming to that. First, we are looking at the case when t equal to 1. He will pass out after one step.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Then this is the distribution of your random variable.
Yes, sir.
So what is the expectation of x conditioned on t equal to 1? What is this value?
So what's 2 here, like how 2 1 by 4? It was backward.
So if I go 2 steps backward, how many steps have I moved?
2.
That's what I wrote now. X is the total number of steps. 2 steps he moved backward, so it is 2. What is wrong there?
So, sir, at one time instance, 2 steps can be taken. That is not a problem.
But it is written here, no? At any time he can take 2 steps backward. And it is written in the question.
Yes, sir, got it. Yeah.
So you should read the question. The physical situation is very, very important. It is not just numbers. You can just manipulate and get the answer. Okay. Yeah. So what is this value? This yeah. So this is the distribution given t equal to 1. So it is 2 into 1 by 4 plus 0 into 1 by 4 plus 1 into 1 by 2. Yeah. This works out to be 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. This is works out to be 1. Everybody agrees. Yeah. Yeah. So now let's look at t equal to if t equal to 2. This again happens with probability 1 by 3. At the second time instance only he passes out. So what is the probability distribution of x? Now he has taken 2 steps. Okay. So think about it, what is happening. So let's call this random variable y. At any time step, the number of steps that person takes is the random variable y. Okay. And then x2 is at if x equal to 2, sorry, t equal to 2, x is just 2 identical copies of y. No? In the first instance, I have to move according to this distribution. In the second instance also, I'll move according to the same distribution. They are independent identical copies. Do you follow? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we know the distribution of y1 and y2. It is this. Yeah. But the distribution of x is going to be very complex. It is the sum of 2 random variables. You will have to look at all possibilities. But we are only interested in the expected value of x. The expected value of x given t equal to 2 is expected value of y1 plus expected value of y2. What is expected value of y1? We already computed actually. It is equal to 1. This is 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Is there a question regarding this? Yeah. I mean, at any time step, he has to walk some number of steps. The number of steps he walks at any time step could be 2 with probability 1 by 4, 0 with probability 1 by 4, 1 with probability 1 by 2. Yeah. Now, if we know that he passes out after 2 steps, he has to do this 2 times. Yeah, independently. So the total number of steps he walked is the number of steps he walked at the first time instant plus number of steps he walked in the second time instance. Do you agree? Yeah. And then expected value is just this. Yeah. Very important thing is we didn't sit and calculate the probability distribution of capital X. It's going to be very complicated. Yeah, yeah. So this is why I said linearity of expectation. Linearity of expectation is very important. It will look like a very simple thing, but I mean, if you don't use it, you will just get stuck. Okay, so finally, let's also do the final case. What is the final case? So if t equal to 3, which again happens with probability 1 by 3, yeah, what is the expected value of x given t equal to 3? Yeah, anybody?
Three.
Okay.
Because at x,
Expected
yeah,
value.
this
Yeah.
is the same as expected
Sure.
value of y1 plus y2 plus y3. y1 is the number of steps moved in the first time step, second time step, third time step. All of them are identically distributed like this. And this expectation goes inside, and this is 3. Yeah. So if you know linearity of expectation, this is, we didn't do any calculation at all. It was just one, I mean, this is 2 products we did, then we just got the answer. If you don't do linearity of expectation, you will sit for hours and hours and try calculating this. Okay. So what is the final answer? What is the expected value of capital X? How do you get it?
Six.
Yeah, so yeah, how do you get it? Let's go through the formula. So t equal to 1 to 3. Yeah. Probability of t equal to t into expected value of x given capital T equal to small t. This is the total probability thing that we covered, yeah, 2 lectures back. And let's put all these numbers together. 1 by 3 into 1 plus 1 by 3 into 2 plus 1 by 3 into 3. So what is this working out to be? This is 1, this is 3 by 3, this is equal to 2, no? How did you get 6? Sorry. Is there a question? Like, I only use simple probability formulas that we learned in class, nothing else. Is there a question? Yeah. So, yes.
Sir, I'm unable to think like this is very simple, but I couldn't start with this one.
So, I mean, where are you stuck?
No, I wasn't stuck. The method, like this linearity, I'm unable to think in this way.
So, I mean, x is the total number of steps. You agree? It is the total number of steps the person took.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we don't care about the direction he went. He went 2 steps, 1 step forward, and 2 steps backward. That is also counted as 4.
Yes, sir.
Because the number of steps. Okay. Now, at any point of time, yeah, the number of steps he can move follows this probability distribution. You agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, with 1 by 3 probability, he will just pass out after 1 step. Yeah. So we computed the expectation then.
Yes, sir.
If with probability 1 by 3, he will pass out after 2 steps. Yeah.
Yes,
Then
sir.
he made, he made this choice 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah, independently.
Okay, both are independent.
Yeah. So this is the number of steps he walked in the first time steps. This is the number of steps he walked in the second time step. Yeah. So and we have to add them. if you want to compute the total number of time steps.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then linearity helps us. This is a linear expression. Linearity goes through addition and everything. And the interesting thing is expected value of I1 you already computed previously. Even that you don't need to calculate. Yeah. Similarly, for t equal to 3, if you understand this, this also is easy. And this is our total probability theorem for random variables.
Yes, sir. I got that.
So you should start thinking at this level, and you should solve more problems. That then only you can come to this level. So there are a lot of problems in the textbook. There are solved examples. There are also references I have given you in the links. Okay. So the only way to, yeah, you remember now we didn't think in terms of probability distribution at all. Probability distributions or events. No, we didn't care about probability distribution or events. We looked at random variables, linearity of expectation, and everything worked out. If you start thinking in terms of events, you you will sit for hours and hours, and you will never solve this because the distribution of these random variables are going to be very, very complicated. Okay, if you sit in terms of events, you will just look at the number of possibilities. 3 steps he walked. You could have done 1 step this way, that way, this way, that way, and finally, yeah, there are 3 raised to 3 possibilities or something. 3 raised to 3 is 27 possibilities. Are you going to sit and work for 27 possibilities? I mean, yeah. Okay, so that was okay. So that was good. Yeah, so the next question is S be the random variable corresponding to his position. Yeah. Now S is the position of the person. On x-axis. Okay, so there is x 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, and so on. Okay, position of the person x-axis after he passes out, after passing out. Passing out. Okay, and the question is you are asked to compute expected value of s raised to 5. Okay, let's do something simple. Let's do expected value of s squared first. Can you compute expected value of s squared? How do you compute expected value of s squared?
So it can be computed in a similar manner to previous question, but this time we need to consider the sign also. Like previously we used 2, but this time we will have to use -2.
So let's look at the case t equal to 1, which happens with probability 1/3. Yeah. So then s equal to some random variable y, where y is distributed according to there is -2 with probability 1/4, 0 with probability 1/4, and 1 with probability 1/2. Yeah. And yeah, so then expected value of s squared given t equal to 1. So how do you do that?
It will be -2 into 1/4
-2
plus 0.
This is s squared.
Oh.
So yeah, but
4
4
into
1/4 plus 0 into 1/4 plus 1 into 1/2. So t equal to 2 happens with probability 1/3. Yeah. So s equal to 2 random variables y1 plus y2. Yeah. Where each yi is according to this distribution. And what is the expected value of s squared conditioned on t equal to 2? Is expected value of y1 plus y2 the whole squared Yeah, so how do you do it? What do you do now? What do we do?
So open the bracket.
Open the bracket. So expected value of y1 squared plus expected value of y2 squared plus 2 into expected value of y1, y2. Yeah, so what is this quantity?
That previous one.
So y1 is yeah. So this is already we calculated. Yeah. So y2 and y1 are identical. So actually it is 2 times this quantity, which is 1 plus 3 by 2 or something. Yeah. Plus 2 into y1, y2. How do you compute y1, y2? Okay, so y1 and y2 are independent. Yeah, so y1 and y2 are independent. What he does in the first step and what he does in the second time step are independent of each other. Yeah, so this is expected value of y1 into expected value of y2. And what is the expected value of y1? It is minus 1 by 2. This is plus 1 by 2. Sorry, minus 1 by 2. This is plus 1 by 2. So what is the expected value of y1?
0.
So this is 0. You don't even need to worry about this. Okay. Yeah. Now, okay. I mean, almost our time is up. So I just wanted to introduce one new concept also today. You do this as a homework. Expected value of s raised to 3 and expected value of s raised to 5. Okay. You will need to use some tricks to do it. Okay, but it is you already know all the tricks. It is elementary mathematics only. Even now in today's class, whatever we did, we was elementary. Everything we covered in class. Okay, just that you need to be a bit clever about using it. That's all. So try to compute these two. You will need to be a little bit clever. Okay. I mean, even if initially it's hard, you just think hard. Eventually, it will work out. Yeah, and it's important that you think hard and yourself find the answer. Then only you will learn this. Okay, yeah, please try this out yourself. So let's also learn one new concept today. Okay. Yeah. So there is something called, so we learned about expectation, variance and all. And some people asked, okay, what is the physical meaning? Okay, what does this mean? What is the meaning of variance and everything? Okay. Yeah, I was not very clear. I gave you some intuition, but it was not very clear. Okay. So the real importance of expectations and variance comes when what you call tail bounds comes in. Okay, and the first type of tail bound is called the Markov's inequality. Yeah. So what is Markov's inequality? So, suppose you have a random variable. Okay, suppose you have a random variable x. Yeah, it has some distribution. It has some distribution like this. Yeah, and it has a mean sitting somewhere. This is the mean of the random variable. Yeah, so this y-axis is the probability distribution of x. X-axis is the value of the random variable. Okay. Now, suppose your mean is sitting here. Yeah. Okay. And suppose you look at the probability. So, and this is a positive random variable. So this is taking only positive values. It's a positive random variable. So x probability of x greater than 0 is equal to 1. Yeah, I think you can even take the value 0. Yeah. Okay. Let's say it is greater than 0 is 1. It never takes any negative or 0 values. Now, do you think there can be a lot of probability sitting here? let's say a, I mean, some a is some large value. Okay, a is some large value, a is some 10,000 or something, and your mean is 10. Yeah. So, do you think the probability of x greater than 10,000 can it be very large?
No, sir.
Why can't it be very large?
Sir, then mean would be shifted at that side.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of probability at 10,000, then your mean should be closer to 10,000. Now, why is it 10? Yeah, and that is the logic of Markov inequality, nothing else. Okay, so Markov inequality says that the probability of x greater or equal to some large value a, yeah, is upper bounded by the expected value of x divided by a. Yeah. So what this tells you is you take your a to be larger and larger. Take your a to be larger and larger. So let's say a is some 100 times expected value of x. A is equal to 100 mu. Yeah. Then your probability that a random variable is greater than 100 mu has to be less than 1 by, it will be less than 1%. Yeah. Is that clear? Yeah. So, is there a question?
Can you please explain again?
Yeah. So let's say your mean is 1. Yeah. And you want to find the probability that expected value of x is greater or equal to 100. Do you think this number can be very large? Yes. And if this number is very large, then why is the expectation 1? And if this number is 0.9, do you think the expected value will be 1?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is saying that this is expected value was 1 divided by 100. So this is less than or equal to 0.1, 0.01. Yeah, that's what Markov says. And the derivation is also very simple. Okay. So if you look at the, so can anybody derive Markov inequality? It's elementary only. You already know it. Yeah, so let's do the formula. Yeah. Now what should I do? This
Take
number
x
is
left side.
Yeah. So we will split the summation into two parts. Summation over x such that x is less than a. Okay. And the summation over x such that x is greater than a. Sorry, this is x only. Yeah. And if I substitute x to be a, it is only going to be smaller. So this is same as this. Everybody agrees? I didn't do anything complicated. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And what is this quantity? What is this quantity? This is the probability of x greater than a.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So maybe this probability is 0. So this is lower bounded by a times probability of x greater than a. And this is what we wanted to prove. Yeah, nothing complicated. Okay. Yeah, so Markov inequality tells you something. If your mean of the random variable is something, then your random variable cannot take too high probabilities, very far away from the mean. Yeah, but I mean, this is true only for random variables which are positive valued. Okay, is this true for random variables which also take negative values? Can it be true?
No, sir.
Well, yeah, can you give me an example?
Because sir, then there can be a large negative value and large positive value, and they can add up to a small value. Like,
let's take 0. I can have a I can have a random variable, okay, which is 10 raised to 5 and minus 10 raised to 5. This is 1 by 2. This is 1 by 2. The expected value is 0. And this 10 raised to 5 is an arbitrary number. I could take any large value you want. Yeah. So if you have negative valued random variables, negative and positive valued random variables, then your probability mass can be anywhere, far away from the mean, no problem. Okay, but if your random variable is positive value, it is only taking positive values, then your probability mass cannot be very high, too far away from the mean. Okay, yeah. So so Markov's inequality will only tell you something if your random variable is positive value. So now you will ask, okay, I have a random variable which is also negative value. So what should I do? Okay, so then there is something called Chebyshev's inequality. Any random variable. Yeah. The Chebyshev's inequality says that the probability that x greater than or equal to some a is less probability that, sorry, I think I should write probability that if I take the random variable x minus mu, okay, you just take the distance of the random variable from the mean. Probability that the distance of the random variable from the mean is greater than or equal to a. That is, the probability is too far away from the mean to either sides. Okay, yeah, is less than or equal to, yeah, is what is the variance times variance of x divided by a squared. Yeah. So let's take this particular random variable. If your this value 10 raised to 5 it becomes made larger and larger, your variance increases, no? Yeah. So suppose you are interested in random variable where the variance is small. That means if the variance is small, remember, okay, it might not, the probability of getting that mean might be 0, but the variance is 1, let's say. Then your probability distribution cannot move too far away from the mean again. Yeah. So it might be something like this. Yeah. But it cannot be like this, because the variance is 1. Yeah. So Chebyshev's inequality says that, yeah, and this also actually follows from Markov's inequality. So what you do is you consider the random variable y, which is x minus mu the whole square. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, so what is the expected value of x? sorry, expected value of y. What is the expected value of y? So the expected value of y was called variance of x. It is the squared distance from the mean, expected value. That was called the variance. And this is a positive valued random variable, no? Okay, it also takes the value 0. So let's assume Markov also works with 0. It's a positive valued random variable. So now we can apply Markov. So what does Markov say? Probability that y greater than or equal to some a is less than or equal to expected value of y divided by a. Yeah. So this is Markov saying. And what do you mean by y greater than or equal to a? That is the probability that x minus mu the whole square greater than or equal to a. That means, yeah, mod x minus mu is greater than or equal to square root a. And that is going to be less than expected value of y, which is the variance of x, divided by a. Yeah. So to ignore the square root, I put a here and put a squared here. That's the only difference. Okay. Okay. Is that clear? I can take one or two more questions.
Sir, can you explain this Chebyshev inequality part once? I am not getting it. Sorry.
So, I mean, Chebyshev's inequality says that if you look at the probability that of the distance between from the x to the mean, what is mod x minus mu? It is the distance of the random variable from the mean. The probability that distance is large is upper bounded by variance of x divided by a squared. Yeah. So, I mean, for example, this is a situation we wanted to avoid, right? You take larger and larger values at something positive and something negative, and then you are saying, okay, you can have larger probability values very far away from the mean. This was our problem. But we said, okay, look, this will not happen if the variance is bounded. Suppose the variance is 1, you cannot have lowest of probability mass far away from the mean. Yeah. And that's what intuitively it means. And I mean, actually, it is no different than Markov at all. Okay. So you just take the random variable, which is x minus mu the whole square. That's a random variable. That is a random variable. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So and the expectation of y was we called it variance. Expectation of y we called it variance. This was the definition of variance. And let's apply Markov on that random variable y. And then you will get Chebyshev. That's all. Okay. So we will solve a few problems on this later. This Markov and Chebyshev is not part of today's test. Okay. It is only till last lecture. Okay. So be prepared. Yeah. Try to understand the question before jumping in and solving things. Yeah. There might be simpler ways of solving things. Yeah. Rather than sitting and calculating a lot of probabilities. Okay. So good luck for the exam. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
We have assignment deadline today. So is it possible to have deep quiz tomorrow?
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you are prepared for it, then it's just a question of 90 minutes. It won't even be 90 minutes. In 1 hour, you should be able to finish the thing. 90 minutes we put because there might be some internet issues or something, then we have to worry. That's why we put 90 minutes. Yeah. So, I mean, you have time till tomorrow morning. So, I mean, if you are prepared for it, then it's just you just need to spend 1 hour and it is done. Okay.
So if possible, means you can set the deadline till tomorrow 12 p.m.
Okay, I will figure out. Yeah, fine. If 12 p.m. is fine with everyone, I can do that. Okay, yeah, fine. Let's keep it 12 p.m. Fine. Yeah. Thank you for now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.